we would certainly be off to a war like no other before.
Definitely.
And same with World War. It's every war, really. It's with the constant changes in technology. I hate to think about what war would be like now.
Who knows, man?
Oh.
And I think about this phrase that's like a samurai sort of dialogue. A lot of Zen literature, Zen Buddhist literature I've read is like, a lot of it's just kind of journals almost of dialogue between students and masters. This book I've kind of been flipping through lately called Zen Flesh and Zen Bones. It's just like a number of like stories of interactions between students and masters in Zen monasteries. And samurais were incredibly influenced by Zen Buddhism. So I read this dialogue between a samurai and his master, and he was talking about they were working in the garden, and the student asked the master some question like, you know, you're teaching me how to kill people and slay them with my sword, but then you're also constantly talking about like presence and love and harmony and all these things. Like, how do you make sense of those two things and reconcile them? And then the master just tells them it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And I think, like, if war were to break out, how many fucking gardeners would we have in that war? Meanwhile, Russians are training their kids to take apart AK-47s in grade 4. And then, what do we got? Like, we got Timbits and fucking, like,
diabetes. We're exporting. See, we're exporting our culture to the rest of the world, so they're all going to get diabetes.
They're all going to get diabetes.
It's great.
So it's a done deal.
Even playing field.
Yeah.
Except with Russia, apparently.
Except with Russia, yeah. They're not. I don't know what their status on diabetes is, but
they have other health issues, though. I'm sure they.
I've heard through certain friends of mine who are in the military that there's this kind of like unspoken truce. It's like it's not really anything official. It's not really anything even really to talk about. It's nothing that's like in discussions now. But you know, it's kind of a semi thing that if war broke out over fresh water, that like Canada and Russia would join forces against the world because we have the most amount of fresh water in each of our countries, and it would be us versus the world, Canada and Russia versus the world. And I kind of think about that scenario. And I'm like, they'd be fucking right. Like, I don't want to be fighting Russia, okay? They would murder us. Like a fucking walk in the park, I'm convinced.
They would, but I think it's important to realize that then we'd be against the United States. And the United States would crush Russia.
That's the other thing, too.
So we'd be a real shitty situation no matter what.
Maybe we could have some crazy, like, trio of fucking America and Canada and Russia, just so then,
versus
like,
China
versus the rest of the world. Because if we had America and Russia and Canada, there'd be no stopping anything.
But, like, yeah, like, when it comes to the idea of there being war, of course, you know, I say it would be us versus America in the case where they're trying to come take our water. Luckily, we don't have any nukes, so they have no reason to nuke us. But they could easily go over our borders and take every major settlement within a couple of days, I would imagine. But Russia's across the water from them, and if America uses nukes, they're fucked, and Russia would be fucked too. We'd all be fucked, actually.
Well, I heard my buddy Peter telling me that, like, when the nuke arms race was kind of like hitting its stride, and we were like, we got a fucking 10 megaton bomb, and they're like, we got a 25 megaton bomb, and like, we got a 30 megaton, like, however it went. Eventually, Russia was just like, we have a 100 megaton bomb, but we can't test it because it would end life on Earth. And everyone's like, whoa, okay, let's just fucking stop with this for a bit.
Have you ever used that app where you can, like, detonate a nuclear bomb over your favorite city and see like an estimate of the casualties? I do this way too much when I'm like really trying to think about like where.
Can you tell me the name of the
You can literally just look it up on like nuclear test map or something. I don't know, like let me think. Or like a simulator, nuclear bomb simulator. I'm sure you can find it really easily.
You think they get Trump in a room like testing out his fucking bombing fucking?
Yeah. It's scary if you look at the SAR bomb and how much it would completely destroy the HRM pretty much. You would see probably the glow from Parsons, Nova Scotia, which is what I'd always test. You know, that's like my reference in my head of how far away you can see stuff. You blow it up in Toronto, you just destroy everything. And the Tsar bomb was the largest. I think it was like a 50 megaton bomb detonated in like an archipelago in northern Russia. And it's just like the thought of a bomb that big. You can see how devastating it would be. Oh my god, it's just unbelievable. Admittedly, I blew it up. So if you look on Google Maps, Google Earth, you can see Burning Man.
Really?
So I decided to see.
Bomb Burning Man?
I did, yeah. Sorry. And admittedly,
fucking nuking Burning
Man. None of them stood a chance, unfortunately.
They were all way too high.
This is it. Yeah. So let's see what happens. You go here.
The nuke map. Okay, we're gonna do a walkthrough of the fucking nuclear bombs.
So you have the option to actually figure out which city you want to bomb. So I did Halifax, but I also did Toronto because I want to make sure my brother would be okay.
We got fucking LA and Taran, Iran.
Taran would be fine. No one's going to want to nuke that, right?
What about Tokyo? Hit Japan again?
Beijing. Oh man, that would not be a politically correct way of waging war.
No, okay. So who should we nuke?
I think we should just try. You can go to your own as well. You can like type in name of city. So we could do Halifax if you wanted to see.
Let's do Halifax.
Yeah, if you really want to.
No, everyone's celebrating the Halifax 100 year.
So hit go right here. So next to the name, you hit go. It'll probably take you to our Halifax. No, it took us to the UK. They don't stay. So
let's bomb Halifax, UK.
Okay, they're screwed. Enter Kiloton. So you can actually select a preset. So I recommend the Tsar bomb because that's like the largest one ever. So this is the one you're talking about, the theoretical
100 megaton.
Yeah, the one where they're like, we're not even going to bother. Yeah. It's just insanity. And you want to do airburst.
You want to do airburst, right?
Yeah, airburst just because I think it's less hard to interpret because there's less.
What we got for advanced options here?
You can look at like I think the show
optimize
pressure,
air overpressure.
I've rarely
I don't know enough about bombs to.
So thankfully we don't. So you can just detonate. So in this community, you're not really going to see much interesting stuff because it's this little shit town.
Let's at least if we're doing the UK, let's hit up London. Let's
just hit London. Sorry, London,
England.
Nothing personal.
I bet you all those government things Dylan was talking about, like Dylan was telling us last week about how. Like you say things like plane and bomb and building and shit and like all these government like recording devices just like snap, like your phone just started recording me and so did yours and so did yours and so did mine, and just like they're all like pulling up our information, recording what we're saying right now because we said all these key like terrorist is another one. Anyway, so back to nuke in London.
Sorry, London. Nothing personal.
Nothing. I wonder what it's like. Oh well.
We're never know now. Yeah.
So what if this launches a real bomb? Like,
we're
far away from that. Are we?
Well, you can blame Alex Wellerstein if that happens.
Created by Alex Wellerstein.
Or Steen.
He's got 100.
I've contributed at least 20.
Detonation. He's got 133.6 million detonations.
But this is a beautiful exercise, though. So just hit detonate. See what happens to.
We're continue.
Oh, we don't need you, Safari, to tell us what to do.
There we go. We've detonated London.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that
We've hit Bedford, we've hit Milton, we've hit almost Oxford, Reading.
That's the thermal radius of the bomb.
Where you
get third-degree burns.
You're getting third-degree burns as far as, like, how far do you think that is? Like, 100 kilometers? Okay, thermal radiation, third-degree burns, 73.7 kilometers away from the bomb site. You're getting third-degree burns.
That's almost here to home.
Then this is the airburst right there. So the airburst is this sort of grayish circle here, and I recommend anyone listening to try this with us. It's really just look what happens to London.
It's called nuclearsecrecy.com
or just type nuke map. Any
nuke map.
It's not hard to. It's really not hard to find with Google. So if you go up there, but you'll be able to see how this is the fireball radius.
Oh, okay. So fireball radius is the smallest 6.1 kilometer size fireball. Maximum size of the nuclear fireball relevance to lived effects depends on height of detonation. If it touches the ground, the amount of radioactive fallout is significantly increased. Minimum burst height for negligible fallout, 5.49 kilometers.
It's way above the city, and then...
So it blows up that high above the ground and creates a fireball that's 6.1 kilometers, 117 kilometers squared.
And then you have the air blast, which is like going to kill quite a few people as well. And it says here, was it 32.6 kilometers?
Yeah.
And then, so it actually can, if you go down, you can actually see the estimated casualties, or it doesn't appear to be showing it for some reason. Maybe it's up. Usually, weird, it didn't. Oh, so if you click it again, so casualties, and then you can actually show like in the basic options, you can basically show the casualties. It's terrifying. So if you hit
Just
detonate,
click all. Oh, it's just airburst.
and then hit detonate again, and it'll show.
Bonded again.
Look at that. Estimated.
Whoa.
It's insane. So it's already.
We're at 5 million. We're at 5,947,000 estimated fatalities, and then 6 million roughly. 6,052,000 estimated injuries.
Yeah, this is just a rough simulation of one of the largest.
That's what a nuke on London would do, 100 megaton bomb.
The largest theoretical one, but if you can actually look at like what's currently in the U.S. arsenal or in the Russian arsenal, and it'd be smaller, but it's still like a million some people probably.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
It's
so the air blast radius is 5 psi, 32 point K. I'm just gonna read the description. At 5 psi overpressure, most residential buildings collapse. Injuries are universal, fatalities are widespread. Optimal height of burst to maximize its effect is 14.5 kilometers. So that's just like there's a 5 psi change in the pressure of the atmosphere, and it just shatters everything.
Yeah.
Houses crumble. And
if you drag that, you can actually drag that around too to change the location of the bomb. If you click on the actual nuke thing, so you can actually detonate it over like Halifax, in Nova Scotia even, or you could detonate over Paris. Like, it's a really, really fun app to like maximize the end of the world.
No fucking doubt.
So I did this because I was interested in where would I have to be in Halifax if Halifax was bombed, like right downtown Halifax. Even in Bedford, you're doomed. Sorry, Bedford. Look at that! Like it's insanity. And so this is the kind of war I guess we have to worry about in the future. Is like, who's going to use these bombs first?
Looks like if we detonated in Paris, we get like 6.3 million fatalities and 4.3 injuries. 4.3 million injuries. Well, that's just insane that people are fucking around with goddamn weapons with that amount of potential consequence. Like,
so luckily, like nowadays, there's no bombs in existence that have 100 megaton capacity, as far as I know.
Hooray.
So we're lucky that we just have to. But the thing is, that's not even the worst thing about nuclear war. It's the fact that from all the fires and all the debris kicked up into the atmosphere, we will not be able to grow crops probably because a huge cloud will form around the northern hemisphere and eventually drift south. No matter where you go, you probably won't be able to grow food, and the population can't be sustained. So there's no. But think about it. It's so frustrating that it's a country is willing to be like, if we can't exist, no one else can. Goodbye, world. Like that's to me just one of the saddest things that we live in. We're a species that thinks that that's fair, but how is it fair to expect a country to face annihilation simply because it can't defend itself with a nuke? I guess there's countries that the second they give up their nukes, not the second, but you see Libya. Libya had a nuclear program, and they give up their nukes, and you saw what happened to Gaddafi. It wasn't very pleasant. Did he deserve it? Well, that's for you to decide. He wasn't a very good guy. But I know a guy from Libya who wasn't too impressed by what happened to his country once NATO got involved. Wasn't really impressed with what the government did either. But nukes have actually given us some sort of semblance of peace in the developed world. But unfortunately, it's led to the creation of these satellite wars that really have done a number on the developing world.
So what are these satellite wars, though?
Satellite wars are just like countries, like smaller countries that basically serve as a battleground between two other countries.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. That's crazy. So
Whoa!
We just looked at the explosion
Oh,
over
fuck.
Halifax, and it's depressing as it can be. Nothing left of HRM. The entire HRM is essentially obliterated by
barely
the
reaches Bridgewater and Truro on the other side.
So all of the fucking fireball is just destroying
Dartmouth and
fucking
Halifax.
Dartmouth and Halifax, like
And
all the way to Cole Harbour, all the way to Beachville. Not quite to Bedford, but
Bedford
is,
gets fucked by the air blast.
the
Or
air blast
burst,
just
rather.
fucks the air burst is fucking everyone from
HRM.
like West Chesapeake. It's well within it. We got fucking Beaverbank, Wellington, Fall River, French Village, Terrence Bay,
But the least they get.
Sambro Creek, Peggy's Cove, all absolutely fucked by the air blast. And then what's the other one here? It's
the actual thermal radiation.
thermal. So you're getting a 3rd-degree burn.
Standing out somewhere in the middle of fucking Windsor.
Yeah, you're out in Wolfville just about. Oh my god, this is so touchy. Just shy. Yeah, you're out in Windsor, you're getting a 3rd-degree burn. You're in fucking
you're
Walton, you're in Brookfield, you're getting a 3rd-degree burn, which is fucking after Truro.
But the thing is, my understanding is, so with this thermal radiation, apparently, if I was if I was told correctly, someone explained to me that if you cover yourself, there's a very good chance that it's not going to burn you. Like, it might burn off